What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. The live stream on Friday was absolutely buck wild, and we opened a ton of Rarity Collection 1. I still think there's a good amount of hidden value in there, and it got me thinking with Rarity Collection 1 and 2. I want to cover a lot of the cards I would be getting here during the off season. With the market crashing, prices going down, people are going, what should I be buying? I want to buy the dip. That comes down to you. I personally got those Allure of Darknesses I talked about in the other stream. I got them from a Facebook vendor, first edition, and it feels so good to have these in hands. I waited forever. This isn't to flip or revend, this is for my personal past format collection and decks. But one card that is going against the theme of this market watch is Red Lotus King Flame Crime. My Discord's pointing the fingers at Cali Effect, but I agree with this when it was lower in price, because we say here often enough on the channel, if a card supports a recent structure deck, it is probably going to get after in droves off of the market. And I read this card, and it's a unique level, and it's pretty darn good and goes with the Red Dragon stuff. Now, if there's other reasons for this buyout, let me know. I haven't watched the video or anything, but it reads, during the main phase, if you control a Fiend Tuner or your opponent controls a special summon monster, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. So, that's already pretty nice. If this card is special summoned, you can inflict 400 damage to your opponent for each fire monster you control with different names. Time rules, yes. Besides, tournament shenanigans, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can send one normal trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Red Lotus King Flame Crime once per turn. So it's not a tuner itself, it synergizes really good with Red Dragon, which has a structure deck. It was only $3 for a secret rare, went under my radar to a good degree too, but now people in droves are spending $15 and going absolutely wild in sales rate. A double triple down buyout during the $10 range. Like, I already knew about the buyout then. I was going to cover it the following week here, but it's continued to just go up and get that attention versus the 5 to 3 it was bought out at. Just absolutely insane traction, and that's past one YouTuber's reach. By the way, if I stumble like it's a presidential debate, I'm still recovering from the weekend, and yeah, it's been a long weekend. My voice was partially gone, so I'm glad to be able to do this video today. So the quarter century secret rare of this card too, it's gone really wild. People are spending 75 versus like the 23 it was down to. Triple ups all around, even into the high range of people getting in on the hype. Let me know if there's other synergy. This seems past a rogue deck at this point, but people are really reaching into this one. So there's the new meta and the WCQ and all that's gonna pass. Rarity Collection 1 has really stood the test of time already, and we're here like a year later, and stuff like this has just gone up and up. And to be fair, people really waited for a secret rare effect veiler, but it's going for what, like, the collector rare, the ultimate rare out of Rarity Collection goes for, right? Like, look at it just continue to go up and up over time and recently do well for itself. Now it's poised at 9 versus that 10.30, but a lot of sales at that $10 range. I was looking at these polls and getting surprised at some of the prices like this that I hadn't necessarily been looking at the lower end, mostly the higher end for Rarity Collection, and went, all right, with Rarity Collection 1 and 2, then what's underestimated at this point? These are not cards I'd personally go and run and buy out today. I would be looking at these cards to add them as filler in deals that I'm making. What does that mean? Let's say there's a price gap in a trade and you're trying to offload cards you think are going to get reprinted during reprint season, and you see these in binders. These are the kind of things, if I was still vending, I would stack up. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know the future of card prices, where they're going to go. I've lost out on a lot of cards like these where I end up in stacks and a competitive version for it gets reprinted somewhere down the road because Konami can do that anytime. But usually long term, when I do my entire spreads, I end up winning long term. The question is, how long do you have to hold on to that versus your money would probably be better in a different venue than Yu-Gi-Oh cards. For me though, it was my living, and now I get to speak on YouTube to that. So these are all cards I would be putting in that position of slowly trying to pick up at a discount or using as trade filler because a lot of them fit in that range. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting with Small World. I specifically really like the quarter century secret rare, not the most penny stonkish in the world, but every other version is penny stonks on this card, even the OG secret, and I would personally probably go for the collector rare over the secret rares for potential future buyouts. But this is a card that had dedicated Twitters to it, and I think will definitely find its way back into a metagame at some point. The question is when, in what fashion, and versus the possibility of getting ashed, etc., and it having its, full effect stop there. Where will it be worth it? Well, I think it will find the way to do that again with how crazy this card is, but that is player brain versus market brain too to some degree. Secret rare, Winged Dragon of Ra, Platinum, etc. The Platinum secrets are a little bit worse in this set than, say, the 25th Anniversary Rarity Collection 2. For the first one, people don't like it as much, but just having that and the secret rare itself are two versions I really like right now. The secret itself is easier to buy into. Raw support has been done time and time again, and Konami's gonna come back to that same old well and dip into it at some point. So the question is, what other versions of this will exist? There's also the Ghost Rare that's not on this page. I really like this card in terms of it does come into competitive play for board clearing. Build-to-board formats will come back around. This ends up being one of the best answers, and the mid-maxes aren't necessarily bad to pick up. It does have that 25th version, it does have a Ghost version, but for penny stonks, I like the secret and the plat secret of this card, which are cheap. Dinosaurs also will one day get new support. Whenever that happens, a lot of buyouts tend to happen around the deck, and the quarter century secret rare of Fossil Dig is at its low. It does have other secret rares besides the secret out of here, but I think all of these are really great value for what they are. I specifically do like the quarter century secret rare where it's at, but there's no current traction to this, and you're still gambling on, okay, when's it gonna happen versus trying to knee-jerk reaction same night the stuff is listed. People are buying out, getting in there. This is the kind of card I'd like to just relax and probably try to pick up like secrets at quarters and value and stuff like that over time. Droll and Lockbird, I've been very vocal that this is one of my favorites out of the set. I think the secret rare is being very underlooked at right now, and that's thanks to Plat Secrets getting so much traction within the set, and it's Plat Secrets doing very well for itself. I specifically like the OG art personally, but people waited so long for a secret rare of this card. It has gotten some immediate attention. In fact, it's curling up a little bit back up in price right now, but under $10 for a playset of this, I really like that for a format dependent hand trap that has such a powerful effect. It goes into banlist conversations all the time and has stood the test of time of coming back into formats, including, like just right there, like we had it right there. People were buying out ultimate rare Droll, if you forget, to ridiculous points knowing a reprint was going to come. Now, Ghost Ogre also is a format dependent hand trap. I think that I really like some of the OG versions for me personally, like the Prismatic Secret out of the 10s, which is still a penny stonk at this point too. This card gets printed into the ground, so other versions could come after, or Konami could lay off for a while. But I do like the secret rare specifically of the new altar art, because people wanted other arts of this, not in the terrible quality that we had from Dual Devastator or in gold rare. This looks great in secret, and I think is really underestimated versus those higher tier versions. It's one I could see being 4 or 5 over time and probably not being compared to, unless it ends up in reprint sets as a secret again. Potted Duality has popped up in a lot of modern. Floon the Rees, anybody? True Draco. Stun decks in general love this card. I think this quarter century secret rare is being so overlooked right now. It's around $8 to $9. And for something that has past format play into current formats that have been very recent, I think this card is absolutely being overlooked. And it's one that I really like for a lot of versions out of Rarity Collection 2. I'd still be going quarter century century secret rare personally, but the plat secret, if you're on a budget, is under, $10 for a playset, actually under $7 realistically if you're adding your card up, but it does go up towards 3s quickly. I think the plat secret's probably the best mid to max, but don't underestimate that 25th. Skill Drain's one that I like to bring up, but I hate the card. This common out of a structure deck, easiest access in the world to everybody recently. This is a $2 card until Rarity Collection. Now, obviously, it's meteorically dipped because it's going to be available for a while, but all those holographic versions for a card that has found its way back to $2 to $3 so many times, I think there's a lot of stonking to do there, and I think there's a lot of upward availability that so many different versions of this card have within it. So, kind of pick your poison with this card. Of course, go holographic. I think this didn't have a secret rare till this either, actually, and just every single version of this card might be a bit underestimated versus where it could go, looking at how other buyouts went on Floodgate Yeps. Magician's Souls, its 25th isn't underestimated at all. It's on the front page, but I do think that its plat secret is getting traction right now, rightfully so. It was starting to dip and is now back up towards 544. I like this version of it because I do think it appeals more towards that casual fan base of, ooh, shiny, mid-max, I don't have to pay the max for this. I really actually like that version of it. It had multiple others, well, one other secret out of Brothers of Legend, so it now has multiple secret rares, but that's kind of why I like the plat secret on this card. But I also think the collector rare and the prismatic ultimate rare are probably very undervalued. People tend to like collector rares on cards like this more over. So many mid-max options to choose from, but for me, I think it's the platinum secret. Rescue Cat has a lot of past formats and did pop up into some more modern formats long ago at this point, but the quarter century secret rare being under $5, that's wild to me for the popularity of this card. We're talking a common that used to be $15. We're talking an ultra rare that's been $120 at one point. Both the alt art and this, I really like those quarter century secret rares long term. Again, these are not things I would rush out to buy. Just, it's on a John Moore video, everybody knows. I think during a buyout, these would fall back out to a good degree. And then you're trying to play, keep the wall up, keep buying, like, don't wait for a specific reason for it. These are things to slowly add on, and I don't think are necessarily going to be like, oh my gosh, $10 forever now, even if they got bought out from this video. I do think there's a lot of upward motion potential for this specific card, though, and it has a lot of nice versions to compete with those two. Rescue Rabbit's another one. I don't think it has as much upward availability, being with vanillas and all, but you do have Dino Rabbit, and I think specifically the Platinum Secret may be very underestimated at under $1, but the quarter century secret rare is also extremely cheap. The OG secret looks so chef's kiss, though, wonderful, and it had buyouts going up until, Rarity Collection's here with it, and then it came slowly down, so the buyouts were some time ago, to be fair, but I think this card is great to pick up on the low end. Polymerization I brought up multiple times. I pulled the ultimate rare of this card, and it looks absolutely insane. There's already other secret rare versions of polymerization that do exist, and we do have a new art polymerization in the future to think about, so it could actually either add coolant or get people to look at other versions of poly as they do collect, extra versions of this card. There's different effects a reprint can actually have, so there's no telling where that will go, but I think the ultimate rare of this just looks absolutely insane, and polymerization is a card that almost every printing has risen for over time, and actually does find its way into newer decks and end up getting played. Book of the Moon! I missed this card having a modern printing, and now we have a 25th of it. The 25th has a little bit of attention, but you have other versions like the Platinum Secret that I feel like are relatively overlooked to a degree, where you can pick it up for under $5 and it looks great. Heck, this is why I specifically bring up this card, the Platinum Rare, where people go, ew, it was the same price versus everyone where they're going, ooh, ew versus ooh is a much different reaction. People were basically trying to get their opponents to throw up on this card, versus this one looks pretty darn nice. Solemn Strike's ultimate rare is down bad. I want to watch it dip further. The texture on it is so nice, and that's thanks to its Rarity Collection printing. Now, the 25th for this, pretty darn affordable and still coming down. That's why I'm saying not to rush. Like, there's a bump in the graph, but like, maybe it is up like $1. But for the rest of the versions on this, like, Plat Secret is relatively ignored and dipping down under $2 by some sellers. So this is a card I really like in the Plat Secret. And then you have other versions where they're pretty darn acceptable, right? But the quarter century secret rare is also under 10. There's penny stock versions, there's higher versions. I personally like all of them. Enemy Controller came out at the same time as its ultimate rare from OTS, and that got a visceral reaction from the community. This has popped up into modern formats. Like, this was played somewhat recently, and before that, it was actually topping in... I want to say Volcanics, but it's not Volcanics. Give me a second. I'm boomering out real bad. It's like a presidential debate. Soul Burner's deck. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't believe it. No way. No shot. I am not... Salomon Great. There we go. That is my most boomer moment here on Market Watch, but we do it live. But yeah, Blade Wygeo played it in his Salad deck, and that was pretty cool to see also in the top cut. This card's under 10 for its quarter century secret, but again, Plat Secret is relatively ignored, and so many other versions of this have been a little bit of money over time, to where I think, you know, $2 pickups, that seems pretty darn good in the penny stonk range. Illusion of Chaos already has a Starlight competitor to its quarter century secret, but this is the #1 deck people from Master Duel were picking up coming in. Remember how much got spent on these cards before its actual reprint for the first time? Yeah, so this actually started out somewhat high, tried to ride a wave, and has come down since. That's why I'm saying don't necessarily rush out. Some of these are still going down, but I think that's a version people are happily going to settle for over paying max. Mid-max has a lot of buyouts these days. Mystical Space Typhoon, one of the most printed cards, if not the most printed card, came in Rarity Collection. I absolutely love the secret rare, and to note, the quarter century secret rare is under $10. But the secret's actually getting a little traction right now, I noticed when going through all the versions of MST. Check this out. It's actually slowly just sloping upward ever so slightly. I specifically do like Secret MST a lot, but other versions will likely perform better. It's just interesting that that specific version is trailing up so many past formats to play this in, so many different options to choose from, and Rarity Collection offers a lot of the best for this card. Abyss Dweller, people waited for a secret rare of this card for so long, and it's been in so many banlist talks. We're talking absolute penny stonk. This is down towards the bottom, and I think will wrap back into metagames once again. But even while it was like being loved, the ultimate rare, which is a bit dark, was having trouble going up. You can see it actually did somewhat recently in history, but then like it came back down and then just came back down and came back down after the reprint. So when it comes to this card, I do think there's going to probably be moments for it again in the future where it comes up in the ban list conversations, because Turn Long Lingering Floodgate from the extra deck so powerful, and I feel like it's largely ignored in the conversations with this set. And finally, Silent Mommy. Now, we do know an alter art for this is eventually coming, but the quarter century secret being under 7 when just because it was rare and not easily accessed, this ultra rare at one point was like $50, $60, and that was coming down after Cardboard Boom. It hung in at $35 for the longest. I think a lot of this card's versions, but specifically the quarter century secret rare, are probably underestimated. This deck's going to continue to get a little drop of support here or there, or notoriety, and the platinum secret is also very affordable, but not the most listing, so some people are paying attention to it. Those are all the cards that I personally would be looking at from the Rarity Collections right now. And there's so much more on the market. Like I said, I bought those Allure of Darknesses that I was talking about. I think there's so much to look around at, and there's so much that people don't look at during these that I get a baby bird mouth syndrome, the open chirping, what do I buy? What do I buy? What you wouldn't be mad keeping. I bought these at $130 a piece, $390. I put my money where my mouth is. If it goes down towards $85, I'm not going to be mad. These got up over $200 a piece, and I thought I was never going to be buying them. Wherever they go from here, these cards are beautiful. They're from a format that means a ton to me because it's the one where I actually won my tournament against Stark Armed with 6 Samurais, and I loved always looking at this card, and I never thought I'd have that first ed stamp on them because of the price, because I couldn't justify it to myself. I was never going to make it a stream goal. I was never going to go all out. I thought I might settle for those secret rares that are going up in price right now. But the ultimates going down while the secrets go up, go back into our mid-max conversation here, right? Like, let's actually pull that up. I didn't have this planned. Allure of Darkness, we did talk about it on a previous video, like the last one. Look at this. Nothing but stonking for this Speed Duel secret, which Speed Duel has great quality. Yet, when we're actually looking at the ultimate rares, they've just bucked up from bottom out at like 120. When you're looking for the actual versions for sale now, they're a little bit more than that. I think 135 or something. No, not quite. Actually, a bit more than that. 170. But still, you'll probably be able to find deals for these on Facebook, but I bought them from a vendor where I was very comfortable that when he said near mint, they would be near mint. That being said, there's deals still to be had out there too, off platforms, which is why most of these cards I suggest getting in person as deal filler, filling in those gaps between trades on cards you want to offload. And you don't always have to plus. I brought that up. When you have reprint fears on a card or you want to offload, trade even and go into things that you think might have bright futures. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these more in-depth conversations on market theory, my vending years, and combining that experience into how I am showing you these specific cards.